becoming Korean. To give some context for the story, when I was really young, I used to really like strategy games like Age of Empires and Command and Conquer. But the part that I liked wasn't the commanding or the conquering, it was just making a bunch of workers and collecting all the resources on the map as I looked at the pictures in the strategy guide. So naturally, around 2009, when I was 13, I got very excited when they announced the latest and greatest strategy game that was about to come out, StarCraft 2. And the reason there was so much hype was because StarCraft 1 was considered the largest and most competitive strategy game in existence, besides Warcraft 3, and this would be its grand successor after 12 years. So right away, I knew that when this game came out, I wanted to be good at it. The big appeal for me for a game like StarCraft 2 was that it was 1 versus 1. So unlike a lot of popular games, you always knew that if you beat the opponent, it was because of your own superior skill. And if you lost, the only person to blame was the developers for designing the game incorrectly. So from then on, every moment from the time I got home from school to when I went to sleep was consumed by watching 3rd or 4th place WCG runner-ups stream the beta, and the only socializing I did was watching the Day 9 Daily, where Sean Day 9 Plot analyzed pro StarCraft replays and talked about how he was doing P90X to become power hot. And this made me realize not only the importance of wrist stretches, but that one of the most exciting aspects of a game like StarCraft was that it had a nearly infinite skill cap. And to play perfectly, you would not only need to do 1,000 things at once, you would have to be able to scout and predict exactly what the opponent wants to do before they even do it, which is of course impossible, except for one guy from Finland when he wears his serious gaming fedora. So when StarCraft 2 eventually came out, I felt my game knowledge had already peaked thanks to the Thought Hammer himself, and I would have no problem climbing the highest ranks of the ladder. So I took my 45 actions per minute and jumped straight into my first real match against a real opponent. There are 3 races, people of Earth, that bring the big guns and balance complaints. Of course, for me, I played Protoss because my previous hobby was Rubik's Cubing, and it only made sense. And as the game started, I did what I was also told you're supposed to do, which is type "good luck, have fun" to your opponent. He returned the favor and said, "So, how are you liking the game so far?" And as I was typing back to him that this is my first real game, but I've been watching a lot of Day 9, have you heard of Power Hot? Bam! Zerglings in my base. I had just been played by the oldest trick in the book, the chat rush. The lesson to be learned: friends are temporary, ladder points are forever. So after that game, I went on to win my next 4 placement matches out of sheer anger, which landed me in Platinum League. I moved my way up to the top 20% fairly quickly. Then when they introduced Masters League, the top 2% of players, once again, no problem, kiddos, get on my level. But then a few months later, they introduced the Grandmasters League for only the top 200 of each server. I would have to practice for real this time. I watched the Global Star League in Korea, where Tasteless and Artosis argued over who is the most handsome pro gamer. I watched State of the Game, a talk show where In Control speculated on the Freudian symbolism of the horse within the female psyche. I even started discussing strategy with other pro gamers on r/StarCraft, an exclusive forum where 230,000 Twitch chat grandmasters make each other worse. And after playing the game for over a year, I finally cracked the top 200 and was one step closer to flying to Korea to play in the GSL and get those K-pop honeys. And then a big moment came around. The #1 player on the ladder, Liquid Huck, was streaming. And when someone was streaming, that meant you could queue up for a game at the same time and snipe them if you're around the same level. But as the game loaded up, I didn't get him. Instead, I got someone called Startail Bomber, who was at the time one of the best Koreans in the entire world and one of the best StarCraft 2 players ever. I would have to use my real builds. The game started, I split my probes, and he left the game. I queued for another game, I got Bomber again, I split my probes, he left the game. 2-0, ladies and gentlemen, 2-0. I have never gained so many ladder points in my life. Turns out he was also trying to snipe out and couldn't be bothered playing me, so he just left both games right away. But we take those.